All right. Hey, YouTube, I'm Lucky, and you know what time it is? It's time for the Trials Meta Report. This is where we address and analyze all of the data from last weekend in Trials to determine what is the meta, what are the strongest weapons in Trials. If you want to get those successful Trials runs, if you want to get those 3 wins, those 5 wins, those 7 wins, and those flawlesses, you got to use these weapons. You got to understand the data in the game. Now, before I pull up the stats here, okay? Let me know in the comment section below which 120 RPM hand cannon are you finding the most success with inside Crucible? Because that's what we're up here for right now. That's what we're talking about, okay? We're trying to decide what is the strongest 120 RPM, and that it's been changing. You know what I'm saying? We've seen a change of the guard over and over and over again. And this week, we have the strongest 120 RPM hand cannon as the Igneous Hammer, okay? Number 1, the most popular, most used weapon, the Fellwinter's Lie. No surprise here. We've talked about this many times before. Over 4 million kills this last weekend. Jeez, this thing is too strong, too devastating. But the number 2 most used weapon is the Igneous Hammer. Again, a lot of people got it the week before. It was 3 wins available. So many people got it. It was super easy to get at that point in time. 2.9. But pay close attention to this, all right? The number 3 most used weapon is the Steady Hand with 2.8 million kills. All right, so it's right there. Just it's neck and neck for the 120 RPM battle. And I think the reason why the Steady Hand is there is because, one, it's very much comparable. It's harder to get. It's kind of hard to get the Steady Hand. If you saw that video, I spent thousands of tokens just to get one God roll on my friend's account. But it pairs obviously the best with Fellwinter's Lie. Fellwinter's Lie is the best shotgun in the game. Astral Horizon, it's good, but it's not nearly as good. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying? If the Astral Horizon was equally as good as the Fellwinter's, then we would see a better balance between these 120s. But unfortunately, Fellwinter's is such a good shotgun and such a better shotgun, and shotgunning is so prevalent, obviously with 4 million kills, that you want to use the strongest shotgun because you don't want to leave someone one shot when they one shot you, right? So Steady Hand is used as much as it is because Fellwinter's Lie is as strong as it is. That being said, though, I do think that the Steady Hand is just as good as the Igneous Hammer, especially if you can get the right roll. The number 4 most used weapon, Astral Horizon, no surprises there. Number 2 is Igneous Hammer, and obviously with the Igneous Hammer, most people are going to use the Astral. And I did make a video talking about this. There is no quick shot opening shot anymore, but you can get the surplus opening shot one, and that is definitely worth getting, all right? Now, on top of that as well, let me give you another news advice, okay? They're buffing Celerity. They're changing it, and they're going to add handling to it. So if you get an Astral Horizon roll with surplus and celerity, sorry, third my words there, that will be really good in terms of handling, okay? When you have all of your abilities, your handling is going to be way better than quick draw, and your ADS speed is going to be almost instant. It's not going to be as good as quick draw opening shot because that opening shot really maxes out that range, but the handling will be amazing, and the snappiness of it will be amazing. So the Astral Horizon with surplus and celerity could actually be a god roll of its own. It will feel very similar to the Mindbender's Ambition. If you remember that shotgun back in the day, a lot of people were running quick draw snapshot on that bad boy, and this Astral Horizon will feel very comparable to that when those celerity changes go through that Bungie just announced today. All right, next up we have the True Prophecy. Now, the number 5 most used weapon, not nearly as strong as the other ones, in my opinion, not nearly as strong as the Steady Hand. We are going to see the True Prophecy go up in numbers, though, because it's going to be so much more available, because they announced next season, Bungie did, that the True Prophecy is going to be a part of Banshee's inventory. He's going to have like 6 weapons at random. And so one of those days, when you go up to Banshee, you're just going to be able to select, I want True Prophecy, boom, and it'll drop, I believe, at a random roll, which is going to be pretty epic, okay? It's going to be pretty cool. You're going to see a lot more True Prophecy usage go up, okay? So, and with that, you'll probably want that rangefinder rampage roll, and other rolls as well. There's a bunch of other good rolls you can get with the True Prophecy, but definitely rangefinder is a solid perk, and unfortunately it doesn't have a ton of handling perks. So that's why I say that the Steady Hand is better than the True Prophecy. But moving on to the next weapon, we have the Messenger. Now, this was the 3-win reward for this week, and it was also the 3-win reward for the start of the season, so a good amount of people have it. No surprises there to see it, but it's actually pretty far up there, okay? It's a 120 RPM meta, but we're still seeing messengers out there. It's kind of cool. I like to see some variation within the meta. I wish there was some hand cannons. I wish there was some pulse rifles, some auto rifles in the meta in the top 10 at all given times. That would really show a true balance. I know a lot of hand cannon users would be upset about that, but you know what? We need some more variation, okay? We need to see some auto rifles in here as well, and they might be spammy and you might not like them, but I kind of like it when there's a little more variation. Let me know in the comment section below. Do you miss the 600 RPM meta? Do you miss the Gnawing Hunger going Burt? Do you like just the pure hand cannon with one pulse rifle meta? Let me know your thoughts. I guess it's not the only one because there's also the Dead Man's Tail down there at the number 8. But for now, we're going to go to the number 7 weapon, the Bastion Kinetic Fusion. It's hard to even call this thing a fusion. It's so disgusting. It doesn't really operate like a fusion at all, but this thing is super lethal. This thing shuts down supers. It's very fun to use. Probably one of the strongest exotics. I mean, out of the top 10, it's one of only 2 out of top 10 in the exotic section of this list. So Bastion is definitely a viable weapon. And then Dead Man's Tail. Okay, we're on to the number 8 weapon here. This scout is super lethal. A lot of people talk about this. It's been banned in some sweat tourneys because it's literally so nasty, especially if you're rocking a Titan and you can fly around in the air with it. Okay, you can hit fire it like crazy. You've seen this gameplay from myself and others many times before. Dead Man's Tail, very strong scout rifle. The time to kill is insane on it, and definitely it's cool to see a scout rifle in the meta. You know what I'm saying? We've got hand cannons in the top 10. We've got pulse rifles in the top 10. We even got scout rifles in the top 10. Okay, where's the auto rifles though? You know, we can't have any auto rifles in the top 10. All right, I'll move on now. The number 9 most used weapon is the Adept Igneous Hammer. Very surprising to see that there. A lot of people do have this. Probably because a little bit of wind trade, you know, got a little cheesy Igneous Hammer, but you know, a lot of people do have it for those reasons, and they're using it because they probably got that god roll, and it is a little better than the Igneous Hammer, but so by such a small margin, it's really not that big a deal. Even I myself often use the regular Igneous Hammer over my Adept one because I got a slightly better roll of the Igneous Hammer, so just keep that in mind. And the number 10 most used weapon is a sniper rifle. Wow, all the way at the bottom, we see snipers. Sniping is so much harder now with all this flinch going on. Let me know in the comment section below if you've been doing any sniping, but me personally, I'll be like aiming down sights, scoping in, about ready to, you know, lock onto someone, hit that headshot maybe, but no, I get flinched, and it's definitely frustrating. So even I myself have diverted away from sniping more than usual. So you adore it all the way down at the number 10 slot. The most powerful sniper. Now, in my opinion, though, also the Eye of Soul is really good. I'm sure the Eye of Soul would be in the number 11, 12, 13, maybe top 15 spot. The Eye of Soul is definitely a beast sniper and pairs great with the Igneous Hammer, but that's a wrap for those stats. Now let's move on to the big boy stats here, okay? Let's see what the player base is looking like. Last week we had 400,000 players. An amazing week, the biggest week of Destiny 2 Trials of Osiris because the Igneous Hammer was at 3 wins. And this week we have the Messenger at 3 wins and the Adept Messenger at Flawless. Kind of a cool week. Plus we had the helmet and the class items, so the loot was just like boom, all good loot, right? We had never had the helmet or the class item before this week, so it was just a stacked week for loot. We have 341,000 players, very healthy player base, very good time this week in Trials. Now, hopefully, this next week isn't a brutal one where we've got weapons and armor that no one really cares for anymore. Hopefully, we've got some good stuff out there, okay? There's still some stuff to chase for, right? We still got the Adept rocket launcher, okay? That's always nice. And no one's ever going to be upset if the Igneous Hammer comes back at 3 or 5 wins, or even 7 wins for that matter. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we get some good loot this week and we can keep the player base nice and high. But that's going to be a wrap for this video. If you enjoyed analyzing the trial stats, rather, make sure to subscribe with notifications on, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Later.